Good morning, brothers and sisters. Doug White down here in Alabama. Got my coffee this morning. How's everybody doing? Sort of chilly out there. Just got a great big power bill. Get a big power bill when it's cold down here in Alabama. Anyway, had a few matters I want to clear up for the new year here on the Christmas and everything. I wanted to give the definition of judgment and judging. Some people tend to get them mixed up. You know, I used to, but I know the definition now. Judgment and judging. We make judgments every day, brothers and sisters. Judgments on everything under the sun. The stoplight, when to go, in traffic, when we're driving our cars, when we're talking to people. We make judgments every day. There's nothing wrong with that. God gave it to us. It's called discernment. How to treat people. But judging, a judge has the authority to pass a sentence. They make a judgment on a matter, and then they have the authority to pass a sentence. So we don't have the authority to pass a sentence when we have a disagreement with somebody. We can differ with them on a matter, but we don't have the authority to pass a sentence. And some people attempt to pass a sentence. I've done it. I'll admit, I've tried to pass a sentence before. I've done a little bit of it here probably in this last year. And, you pass a sentence when you pass a sentence on somebody when you call names. That's trying to pass a sentence. I've judged this matter, and I'm going to pass a sentence. you whatever follows, you brand them with a name, you say. But that is judging. You've judged this matter, and I'm going to pass a sentence. You're a whatever the name that follows. And I'm guilty of this myself, so I'm going to clear this up for the new year. We'll get it all out of the way. We'll start the new year on a new slate clean, on the new year. I like to do that. That old song goes, let old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind. In other words, you clean the slate, let's start out with a new year. But judgment and judging, two different words, two different things. The child of God makes judgments every day, but we need to leave off on trying to pass into judgment. We let the tares and the wheat and the tares grow together. Let them grow together because we're not smart enough to know how to separate the wheat from the tares, the shaft, whatever they call it, the wheat and the shaft. We're not smart enough to do it. You're gonna root up the wheat if you try to do that. So we don't do that. We let God handle that at the last day. He'll come and set his angels to separate everybody out. But judgment, brothers and sisters, and this old boy is for you down here in Alabama, is when we attempt to pass a sentence on that person that we've made a judgment on. So we shouldn't do that, brothers and sisters. And we do that by calling names and trying to get back, trying to get back. I've done it too, so I'm just as guilty as the next person, but I'm just putting it out there. Calling names and stuff like that. But anyway, I just had those thoughts, thinking about it. There's therefore now no condemnation to those that are in Christ Jesus. We can look at the Bible in two different ways. The letter that kills, the Old Testament, letter that kills. Or the New Testament, the Spirit that gives life. There's therefore now no condemnation to them which are in Christ Jesus. That lady, that woman that was caught in adultery, there were two statements made there. One statement was, go and sin no more. And then the other statement was, neither do I condemn thee, brothers and sisters. You know what kind of statement the child of grace has upon him? It's neither do I condemn thee. from the foundation of the world, I don't condemn thee. I don't condemn thee. There is no condemnation of those that are in Christ Jesus from the foundation of the world. And anyway, the Old Testament, the letter that kills, New Testament, the Spirit that gives life, full of grace and truth. See, that's where we're living now, in the New Testament. And anyway, just a thought I had here. Almost forgot to put this out there, There were some of God's people which were judging. They were passing judgment on these terrible people over there in Romans 1, start at 18, go over there to Romans 2. They were these were God's people. If you look at my videos, you'll see that I believe they're God's people. And some of his people were pronouncing judgment on these people. And Jesus said, and Paul said in his epistle, he said, when you judge others, you condemn yourself. We condemn ourselves. That some of the people that think I'm not condemning anybody. We condemn ourselves when we judge other people, because how do we condemn ourselves? Because we're doing the same thing as long as we're in this vessel of clay, brothers and sisters. We sin as long as we're in this vessel of clay, and it's just a matter of degree to these terrible things. If you look at in Romans 2, 1 and 2, these people that were turned over to a reprobate mind, and they were doing all these evil things, I believe, are God's people, if you'll check into it. But anyway, we condemn ourselves when we look down our nose on other people and make judgments about them, call names and label them. That's being a judge. See, a judge has the authority to pass a sentence. See, that's how you know you're getting off into error, when you try to pass a sentence. I've done it. I'll be honest with you. I've probably done it here lately. But when you try to pass a sentence, see, that's being. But a judgment is what God gives us in a discerning, who somebody to listen to, who not to listen to, who to pay some mind, who not to pay some mind, when to stop and go in traffic, what to do in every situation in life. Those are judgments, and some people are confusing the two. But that's just what I was thinking about. Can't separate the wheat from the shaft. Tares, we can't do that. God doesn't want us to do that. We can, He'll do that at the end. See? Because who knows? Every one of us come the same way. By grace. Some people try to put the doorknob on our side too. Some people try to circumcise their own heart. They think they can circumcise their own heart. No, you can't do it. No, he has to circumcise. The doorknob's not on your side of the door. Some people confuse that where it said, I stand at the door and knock, but that's not what it's talking about over there in Revelation. It's talking about he got locked out of some of his churches that he had that were set up. But anyway, just wanted to get back and talk with everybody just a minute or two. Didn't have much to say. I hope maybe what I say can help somebody in the new year. There's therefore now no condemnation, brothers and sisters. We're not condemning anybody for any kind of view they take on this particular holy day that's coming up here that people count as a holy day. We're not condemning anybody in any way, whether they observe it or whether they do not observe this particular day. We observe every day. We eat every day, this time of year. We fellowship. My family, got a big family. We fellowship every year, every week. So it's not going to be anything too different. But the whole thing, brother and sister, is based on God's love for his people. God has a great love for his people and rich mercy. Whenever it starts getting around away from love and mercy for other people, then you're getting off in, getting in over in the ditch somewhere. You're getting off the road in the ditch. Doesn't mean you lost your salvation, which you can't lose because he wrote your name down in the Lamb's Book of Life before the world ever began and decided he wanted to love a great multitude of people, like the sands by the seashore. Just think of that, brother and sister. Like the stars in the sky. That's what that's the way he describes his great love. Say, God has a great love for great multitudes of people, and they're all around you. They're all around you. Anyway, just wanted to check back in. Nobody's judging anybody. Nobody's condemning anybody for any kind of view. If your conscience condemns you on a matter, you let your conscience be your guide, brothers and sisters. I believe in liberty of conscience. The people that do celebrate this day, that's supposed holy day, don't condemn those that don't, and the ones that don't, you don't look down your nose on either way. See, nobody's condemning anybody on this channel. In fact, it's quite the opposite if you check into some of my others. But anyway, just wanted to say hey to everybody, and we're getting ready, the kids and all, we're getting ready to get ready for company coming out of town, and we're going to have a good time here in this time of the year. And peace and love, Miss O'Boy, down here in Alabama.